Our next speaker is none other than Shailesh Bhalda from Adani Wilmar Limited, one of the largest exporters of castor oil from India. And his topic is Indian castor oil supply and export potential, or rather export position scenario. Over to you, Shailesh.
Thank you, Atulji. Welcome everyone. It's my privilege to express my views on Indian castor demand supply scenario. The world is passing through tough time. Thanks C and global team to take such initiative to provide clarity in this unclear and VUCA times. The only thing certain in this world is uncertainty. So during the time slot given to me, I shall cover castor seed availability, castor sowing for upcoming season, castor oil exports from India, and the price outlook. I'll not talk about economic numbers and the latest COVID numbers, as it is already covered by previous speakers. Next slide. Next slide, please. So, castor seed crop is estimated by AgriWatch is almost 1.95 million metric ton, is against the previous estimate of almost 2.03 million metric tons. I don't have a better scientific tool to assess the crop size, so I don't challenge the number. I go with that number. Carry in number is almost 250,000 metric ton. It can be more than 250,000 metric ton if we back calculate the numbers from the export during the first half of this year. The numbers actually appears to be almost 300,000 ton. So total seed availability is around 2.2 million metric ton. Castor seed arrival till date is almost 500,000 metric ton, and balance with the farmers should be around 1.5 million metric ton. Now, many of the farmers have moved their stock to their homes due to lockdown, because during lockdown, the market yards could not open and the farmers could not sell of their produce through the market yard, and they were forced to take their produces to their homes. So the arrival pattern this year, which normally is like a bell cow, it may be like a plate of, the farmers has already taken their produce to their home and they are not in hurry to take sell it. They don't need more cash this year because the requirements are limited. There may not be enough wedding or any events, anything. Whenever they need money, they will try to sell their produce. So I think the arrival pattern this year should be a little different than what it used to be. Normally, 50% of the crop arrives during the peak arrival season of March, April, May, June. But this year, it may be more spreaded. Next slide. About upcoming sowing season, the IMDA and other weather forecasting agencies, they forecasted the monsoon to be good and timely. Monsoon already commenced in southern part in Kerala by end May or early June. It was very much in time, and in Gujarat it is officially commenced on 14th of June. There were pre-monsoon rains also during first half of June, which has helped early sowing. Due to good monsoon last year, the water levels are pretty high, both underground as well as over the ground. Underground, the water levels are high, and the dam water levels in the dams are also pretty good. So that helped the early sowing this year. Now, lower realization of prices by castor farmer this year, this would this would not help the castor sowing, and the good prices of competing crops like peanut, cotton, and other crops, the prices are reasonably high. So the castor would be a disadvantage as compared to previous year. Last year was the prices of castor was exceptionally high thanks to the adventurist. The farmers realized good values during harvesting season, which was not the case this year. MSP also declared by this year. The government has declared MSP for this year for, I think, almost all the food products, and the MSPs are higher. If we talk about cotton, it is almost 260 rupees increase per quintal to 5115. Peanut also 185. All pulses and everything, I think almost all food products, the MSP is increased. As officially declared by government of India, returns to farmer over the cost of production is minimum 50% more than their cost of production. In some cases like bajra and all, it's almost 83% higher than cost of production. So all these facts, considering all these facts, castor sowing is at disadvantage, and the sowing is expected to be lower this year as compared to past. Now, castor sowing area mainly depends on two factors. One is price, and the other one is monsoon. The price of castor seed versus the price of competing crops. And monsoon, it depends on time of monsoon and the quantum of monsoon. If the monsoon is on time, then the sowing should be lower because people have the option to go for other cash crops. But if monsoon is delayed, like last year, monsoon was delayed, so there is plenty of castor sowing, and the quantity of monsoon also matters. If the rainfall is more during late part, then the sowing is more. If you see this matrix, I try to plot these two factors into a matrix. The green zone is last year, where the price of castor was higher during sowing season, and the competing crops were lower as compared to castor, and the monsoon was late, but it was excellent monsoon. So this has resulted in an exceptionally higher sowing last year, and the red is this year. This year, the castor prices are lower during castor sowing as compared to competing crops, and the monsoon is expected to be timely and good. So this year, the sowing is expected to be pretty low. Next slide. Welcome to castor oil export numbers from India. I think there are mainly two sources of castor oil export numbers from India. One is from Surveyor, and the second one is from Government of India. The Surveyor gives prompt numbers immediately after completion of the month, which helps us in faster decision making, whereas the government numbers we normally get after 2-3 months of the exports. So if we see the government numbers, which seems to be more scientific and reliable, the exports from India during 2019 was 545 metric ton, as against 597,000 metric tons during 2018. So there was a drop of almost 8.5%. If we see 2020, if we compare January to May numbers, the castor oil exports from India as per Surveyor is 209,000 metric tons. So last year, January to May number was 239,000 metric tons. So we can see a drop of castor oil exports from India during first 5 months of 2020. Next slide. So this is castor oil exports from India destination wise. So if we see China, the castor oil export during 2018 was 281. It has dropped to 237. So there was a drop of almost 15%. From January to May also, we can see there is a drop from 107,000 to 101. Europe also we can see from 2018 to 2019 was almost a similar number, but this year we can see a drop of almost 9% during January to May. USA, last 2018 to 19 was 60,000, and there was a drop of 13%. It was 52,000 in 2019. If we see first 5 months, there is a drop from castor oil exports from January to May from 24,000 to 21,000. So overall, there is a drop of castor oil exports from India last year as well as first 5 months in 2020. Next slide. So castor derivative exports from India, if we see the numbers, the derivative exports from India has been increasing steadily in last 5 years. The numbers may be little distorted because there may be some overlapping in HS code. In some cases, like 12 HSA getting exported in some other HS code also. So, but if we see these numbers, there is a sharp increase. HCO getting exported around 45,000 ton. It is almost a consistent number in last 5 years. 12 HSA has been increasing in last 5 years. And the third biggest one is ricinoleic acid. It's around 17,000 ton. Sebacic earlier was not produced much in India. Now I think almost 5,000 ton of Sebacic is produced in India, which is equivalent to almost 10,000 ton of castor oil consumed in Sebacic. So overall, if we see, I feel there should be more than 150,000 ton of castor oil getting consumed in castor derivative plus 50,000 ton in terms of castor oil. So almost 200,000 ton of castor oil is consumed in castor derivative as well as local consumption. Next slide. So castor oil export outlook, if we see, the numbers were little confusing because people were talking about lower economies and all, but that is not getting reflected in castor oil export numbers from India. This may be due to the time lag between the consumption and the exports. So castor oil export or demand gets impacted by two factors. One is real consumption and one is change in inventory level. So inventory level during Q1, that is immediately after the castor conference in February, I think that was lowest ever because I think most of the trade participants were expecting a bumper crop, and that is why they reduced their inventory to the lowest. That was followed immediately by COVID-19, and that resulted in logistic supply chain issues and availability of raw material, and that hindered the export process from India, and that is why the inventory level at the lowest at destination, that was followed by the tightness in export from India. So that resulted in a sudden price increase during the second quarter of this year. The export numbers during May to June are good. This is mainly because the buying due to lower inventory was high from the destinations. Plus, the buyers were also afraid of the COVID situations in India. So they also wanted to get secured about the supply chain and their inventory levels. So they are trying to make their inventory levels little comfortable as compared to the inventory level during Q1. So the export during Q2 should be medium, or you can say should be good. But the real impact of lower consumptions due to COVID should be during second half of 2020. Because the consumptions of end product like automobile happens to be the biggest application in castor, directly or indirectly. So the end products are getting sold lower. So now I think that the real impact of castor oil buying from India should be more during second half of 2020. Next slide. So I'll come to the pricing, castor oil price outlook. I'll start with the bullish factor. So bullish factor, the farmers had already sold off their entire stock for last year in 2019, and by February this year, and there was lowest stock available with the farmers or with the stockists. So the stock level in the entire chain was the lowest ever. So this is a bullish factor. The farmers have resistance to sell at lower price. The prices are lower, and the farmers in India, I think they have the enough capacity to stock. Almost, we have seen in the past that they've stored for almost 5, 6, 7 years also. So we should not underestimate the capacity for storage for the farmers. Lower sowing expected during new season is also a very, very bullish factor, and we should not be ignoring this factor. The factories also have the very low inventory. In the previous years, the factory also tried to cover a major chunk during the season so that they can continue their productions during the off season. But I think this year, due to higher crop expected and followed by this COVID, the factories also could not secure enough inventory. So this is also very bullish factor. Now, opening of lockdowns across the globe, I think now most of the countries globally, they're opening up their the lockdown which was applicable during quarter 2. So the consumptions may improve. So this is also bullish factor. The stimulus packages offered by most countries to boost economies. So there may be little more spending, surplus money to spend. So this is again a bullish factor. Uncertain supply chain may prompt buyers to increase the inventory level, as we have seen during quarter 2 also. They imported little more than their real consumption. So this trend may continue because this will again depend on the situation from India. So I think this is also a bullish factor. Increased application due to low prices. Castor, I think the prices are reasonably low, and there may be some additional applications like in DCO for paints and many other applications. Castor can be used as compared to other vegetable oil prices. And last but not the least, the government agri reforms may push preference to food crops. The MSP declared by government that they always give preference to food crops, and castor is at disadvantage because castor is not under MSP. Though there are some rumors always that government may consider MSP, but I don't think that may be the case. So that is also a bullish factor. Next slide. I'll come to the bearish factors now. So bearish factor is surplus supply over demand. Whatever we say, the lower sowing this year or whatever, but there is enough supply as compared to demand. So 2.2 of supply, 2.2 million metric ton, and the consumption requirement of 1.5. So even if the demand remains same, there is enough supply as compared to demand. So this is a bearish factor. Lower consumptions globally. We have seen the economic numbers and all these things. My previous speakers have already explained this. So I think that certainly may have impact on consumptions, also on the sentiments of the buyers. They may not plan anything long term because the sentiments are extremely low. The global economics are at turmoil. We have already discussed this issue. Uncertainty of crude price also, because crude price is again went to the lowest level and now already recovered. So I think that also impacts castor. Uncertainty about COVID. We should not ignore the possibility of a second wave. We have already seen in some of the countries the second wave is already started. So we should not ignore this, and that will certainly have impact. Indo-China tensions, that can be a bullish factor or a bearish factor depending on the government actions. important is absence of bigger adventurers in the market, because this year I don't feel the bigger adventurers, they are present, because they already burned their fingers in the past, and I think they may not donate any more money this year to the market. Lower volumes on exchange. Exchange also plays an important part in price discovery. Low volumes on exchange, lower dematting and hedging. I think this is also a bearish factor. Next slide. So last slide, castor oil price outlook. To confuse everyone, I think last year there was a crop of 1.95 and 250,000 ton of carry in. So the total availability was 2.2. So the total oil available is almost 1 million metric ton. The exports, if we consider 10% lower exports, it becomes almost 500,000 ton of castor oil export expected this year. 150,000 ton in derivative and 50,000 of domestic consumption. So total disappearance in terms of castor oil should be 700,000 ton. So there may be a carry over from this year to next year of almost 700,000 ton. If the export remains similar also to last year, it is certainly going to be higher than 600,000 ton. Now I've tried to make a projection for 2021 basis the lower sowing expected for this year and the crop availability for next year, because now once the sowing numbers start appearing, most of the trade participants will look at 18 months balance sheet instead of 6 months, because it always happens like that. Last year also during similar period, people started, the price increased because people were expecting lower sowing, but by end of September when the sowing was over, the sowing was extremely well and the demand was low, so the price, there was a correction again in the pricing. So this year also, due to lower sowing expectation, the price has already started improving. But if we see 18-month balance sheet also, I have made a projection basis 30% lower acreage and also on 40% lower acreage. If you make 30% lower acreage, the crop appears to be 1.36 million and the carry in what we have projected. So it becomes availability of total 2 million metric tons. To be positive, if we consider the consumption similar to what it was in 2019 of 550,000 ton, we expect that, okay, the situation, COVID and everything will improve. So we consider that as similar number. Then also there is a carryover of 450,000 ton from 2021 to 2022. So there is no tight situation if we consider 18-month balance sheet also. If we consider 40% reduction in acreage, then also the crop becomes 1.17 million metric ton, which is similar to what it was in 2018. Then also the supply is enough to take care of even 2021 requirement. Then also there is a surplus supply and the carryover is almost 258,000 ton. So if we make 18-month balance sheet, I think then also the fact remains that the supply is enough as compared to demand. And we also need to consider COVID situation in coming days that would decide the future of all commodities, and castor is no exception to that. It's a time to remain super cautious and avoid big speculative positions. And I think we should not look at only the demand supply aspect, but major we should try to forecast COVID situation, which is a very tough task. So that's it from my side. I think I was successful in making everyone more confused. Thank you.
Thank you, Shailesh. I'm sure you've definitely succeeded in making everyone confused whether the market is going to be bullish or bearish, and how the COVID is going to be behaving going forward.